What's up, you guys? My name is Wolfie, and welcome back to another Motivational Mondays. I have with me, you all know him and you love him. Why am I pointing to the other side of my room? Tomato Biscuit. Say hi, Mato.
Hey guys, Tomato Biscuit here, and he's pointing to the other side. Actually locked up over there. He's forcing me to do this.
Yeah, there's a camera pointed at him, and don't worry about it. He's okay. I feed him like once a day. If the quality of the video is a little less, it's because I'm using the longer recording camera, so that in case we get longer talking subjects, me and Mato don't have to wait for my camera to restart after it shuts down. So
rude, Wolfie, so rude.
I know, so rude. So let's just get into it. Okay, Sarah E asks, crap. If it's at all possible, could you do a Motivational Monday on being left out and not fitting in? I really can't thank you enough for how happy your videos make me feel when I feel like I need a friend or someone to care about me. Okay, so that's a very, I wouldn't say it's too much of a touchy or very like problematic subject. It matters to you, and that's important and all, but I want to say it as it's not a serious thing. Like, fitting in shouldn't be the name of the game. You shouldn't worry about your entire life trying to fit in. And what I'm trying to say is that a lot of this, it's the same thing when I talked about the bullying. It's all subjugated to high school. Everybody in high school wants to fit in. They want to be, part of that group. But you can't, nobody can be part of everything. And then when you get out into the real world, I know Mato's been out in the real world longer than I have. He probably knows more about this. It's not really fitting in, even when it comes to the workplace. There's a few things here and there, like there's the boss, janitors, your co-workers, things like that. But there's still separations, which makes sense, but it's not so much of trying to get into a group that you may not fit in. Because a lot of the time, if you can't fit into that group, you probably shouldn't be in that group. You shouldn't try to be in that group. You should focus on being with people more like you. If you're a gamer, be with gamers instead of a jock, because quite frankly, if someone brings you into their group and they're a jock, they might do it for hateful reasons. What are your thoughts on it, Mato?
That's really, really good. I have a couple opposing thoughts on this, because with topics like this, I think a really useful thing you can do for yourself is to play devil's advocate and weigh out the options, weigh out the different view sets. Because if you initially just right off the bat subscribe to one mindset, there's no guarantee that mindset is the correct one that you should be promoting your life to. And so my two kind of mindsets is, first of all, like, fitting in comes with age. Like, yes, like everyone wants to fit in, everyone wants to feel included, everyone wants to feel that safety net around them, that if they fall, there's people around them to catch them and pick them back up. But you have to realize that sometimes fitting in isn't the best thing you can do. Like Wolfie said, if you want to fit in with the jocks, maybe they're pulling you in for the bad reason. And so you have to who do you want to be to find out what social circle you want to fit in with. Mm-hmm. And the most basic thing you can do is realize that, for me, I'll use personal experiences for me, because I don't want to put words in anyone else's mouth, say this is how it should be. But what happens with me is I wanted to define myself with being a good person. And I had that very broad umbrella of what I wanted to be, and that can fit in with anybody. That can be, I can be a good person to anybody, and I can be nice to anybody. I can accept anybody and be tolerant with anybody. And so the fact that I stopped trying to fit in with a certain group, I realized that it's easy to fit in with everybody if you just try to look at the broad spectrum, not the like say quote unquote goths. If they want to fit in with other goths, they have to fit in with this strict criteria of things to do to be a quote unquote goth. But like, I could be friends with anybody because I just want to walk up and be like, hey, I'm Tomato,
right,
very nice to meet you, and all this stuff. And so just realize that fitting in doesn't potentially have to be labeling yourself as something.
Yeah, never ever, for one thing, never label yourself, and never ever let someone else label you. If you're, like Mato said, and I feel this is a really good issue for us both to talk upon, because for some of you that may not know, Mato is, what are you, like a difference from me.
Yeah,
10
basically.
year. Yeah, he's 10 years older than me, which is really good because he's been in this
The
outside
cruel,
world,
cruel real world.
the cruel real working world way longer than I have, and I've been out of high school for a year now, so I know that, you know, environment. I remember it a lot more than Mato, and for that matter, I'm sure a lot of things have changed since he graduated.
Well, I mean, I just want to touch on the fact that back again with fitting in not always being the good thing. Like,
Right.
say the people that initially accept you, say they're like drug abusers, or say they're these people that don't necessarily have the best societal viewpoints. If you're fitting in with those people, it doesn't mean it's a good thing. And so that's why it's really important for you to have that very strong viewpoint of yourself and what you want to be and what the person that you're proud of. And if you can be proud of who you are, and the people that you're fitting in with are most likely, you know, intrinsically people that are good and nice and happy and supportive. And so fitting in isn't always good. And you touched on that too, Wolfie. So that's
Right.
I love listening to you talk.
And it's that whole mindset of when you fit in with someone or some group of people, usually, and a lot of it may happen more with college than high school because everyone goes somewhere different after high school, but in that when you fit into that group, whatever it may be, and you really just click, those can be lifelong friends rather than, you know, being popular for a year or two until you graduate. And that matters a lot more than, you know, being popular, because when you find these friends, they'll drop everything for you, especially if you fit into their group. Even if someone sees a goth or a group of goths and they think, well, they're always bad and hateful and all this other things, they may be that to other people because they put up a wall against the world, which is fine. I mean, everyone's hurt in their own way from something in their past. But usually when you break down that wall and get into that group, so you're a goth and you get into this goth group, and I don't mean to label, it's just that these are usually the stereotypes in something like high school. When you get into that group, they really show you like who they really are. They really show you that they will care for you and they will drop everything for you, which is something everyone needs.
Something you said that I really, really liked is that fitting in can sometimes build different walls that shouldn't be there. Just because you're fitting with one group, and I'm having trouble talking, just because you're fitting in with one group, that one group may not want to fit in with another group. And that's why it's so important not to just so harshly define yourself as one thing. And now, like, I feel like in this day and age, that people are searching for an identity so bad that they're actually forgetting what defines people. And people want to say that one aspect of themselves is their definition, whether it be political viewpoints, sexual orientation, just all these things that they use to quote unquote define their entire being and viewpoint, when really no one instance, no one snapshot label defines anybody. What defines them is them as a whole unit, them as a whole being. And so people it's easy for people to forget that, because society, I think, kind of promotes people using these one-term ideas to set out their whole future for them. And I think it's important for, and again, I'm just speaking for me, to kind of realize who I am outside of a one-word sentence.
And that's why it's always good to get a little more perspective from, you know, any outside source. And I think the main point that we're trying to state with, you know, this subject is you can fit in, but make sure you find the right group. Don't force it. And if you don't normally fit in, I'm sure there's someone somewhere. You got to remember that in high school there are band clubs, marching band clubs, ROTC clubs. There are jock clubs, sports clubs. Now they have, like, I forget what they're called, but you answer a bunch of, like, mathematical or historic questions, and you go to do things, and you've got, like, cross-country clubs. You've got every club you can think of in high school. So if you think, oh, I don't fit in this one and I want to fit into this one, I'm sure there's a better one that you will fit in perfectly.
Oh, I love it.
You have any final thoughts on it?
Just love yourselves and be happy. That's so
Yeah.
cheesy and stereotypical, but
Yeah.
if you know who you are and you love yourself, you'll find your group. Not every pond is for everybody,
Hmm.
but you can fit a little bit in every pond to relate to other people.
Perfect. Couldn't said it better myself.
I love you,
Okay. Well, you cut me off. And the next one is from Fred Kunha. They asked, I wanted to propose the subject of peer pressure with the pros and cons for the next Motivational Monday. Have you ever been peer pressured? Do you think it's good, bad, or situational? Or situational. That, however, is a touchy subject, I personally think, because peer pressure can get you to do anything. A lot of times people label peer pressure into doing things like alcohol, drugs, which is terrible. And while I don't want to say, oh, you know, I've never been peer pressured, of course I've been peer pressured. And there are a lot of things that I have a lot of, I guess, self-control over a lot of things, not especially, I have a lot more now, but I did in high school more than I think most teenagers, because I saw what they were doing. Because I was like offered, you know, pot at a lot of times, or to go and drink a lot of times, or go to parties a lot of times, you know, all these things, when I guess it was a lot better that I never been, or I said no. That was the best thing about it, is that yes, I was peer pressured, and I guess the pro is that it shows you how strong you can be, because in situations like that, it showed me, and I know how you're all feeling. If somebody you think is cool and they come up to you and ask you something like that, you're starting to sweat and your heart's beating really fast, and you're like, oh my god, if I say the wrong thing, will they not think I'm cool? And that's the thing, that that doesn't matter really, because what's important is your health and your happiness. If that doesn't make you happy or healthy, you shouldn't do it. Don't rely on anything that they say. So that pro can be, if you say no, if you're able to do it, it shows just how strong you are in a situation where you may have thought about it and thought, oh, I would definitely do that to be cool, and then the situation arises and you don't. The cons, however, are that it's very easy to be peer pressured. People can even just be telling you to do something stupid, like, hey, throw this paper airplane at the teacher, and then boom, yeah, it's something as simple as that, and then boom, you're suspended, or you get an F or something. And that's a very low, like a low danger zone, I guess, when it comes to peer pressure, but it's still peer pressure, which is a bad thing, because then you compare the two and you say, well, it wasn't drinking or smoking, but at the same time, you let someone else influence your thoughts, which shouldn't be allowed. It's bad that anyone, anywhere, shouldn't feel strong enough to state their own opinion. I personally have a very large problem with being quote-unquote a pushover. I don't stand up for myself too well, and I do in the sense of, if someone were to punch me, I'd fight back. Someone were to like make fun of my family, I might say something, but it's situations where if I don't want to have conflict, I'm like, if I don't want to argue with someone, I will blatantly accept it, roll over, and be fine with it, or just not fight. I'll agree with them, whatever it may be, and be like, yep, yeah, I know, that's crazy. When in reality, my mind's screaming at me to say something otherwise. So I have I don't mean to take the whole spotlight, but I'm almost done. No. I have the same problem, and everyone gets peer pressured. But it's showing you how strong you are, and of course, there are bad things with peer pressure, some worse than others, but at the same time, no peer pressure is good peer pressure.
I love it. I kind of have a very unpopular view with peer pressure. Yeah, so everyone prepare to hate me. But like, especially with the topic of shaming nowadays, you know, it became a big thing, and you know, everyone's talking about, you know, don't shame, don't fat shame, don't this shame, that shame, whatever, shame. And to me, it is a normal part of growing up as a human being. Like, there's no way we can shelter ourselves from all this stuff that's going to happen to us. We can't live in this protected world where
Bubble.
where we're so afraid to get offended, or we're so afraid to be triggered, and everything makes us anxious, and everything triggers us and all this stuff. And me as a kid, I got made fun of all the time. And you know what I did? I bettered myself. Like, just because if someone calls me, like when I was younger, if someone called me fat, you know what? I was a bit out of shape. I was overweight and all this stuff. And I'm not saying it was good for them to have done that, but I'm in a lot better shape now. I'm a lot healthier now. Like, I took it to heart, and I didn't let it define who I was, but I had enough mindset to take a look and be like, you know what? I could do better. I could be better. And no one's perfect. Like, no one in this entire world has nothing that they can't improve on. And so I'm such a big supporter of people that are sad or depressed or all this stuff. I look at them and I say, make yourself happy. Like, one thing I'm really big on is that scared me. My computer shut down. I was like, oh my God. And then I turned it back on.
Yeah, I saw you pause for a second.
Yeah, it scared me. One thing I'm really big on is to wake up in the morning. I've been saying this a lot to people lately, that I've been getting a lot of messages on, like how can we stop this or that, or have better self-image and all this stuff. Wake up in the morning and decide how you want your day to go. And at the end of the day, if you want to be happy, you work every single step of the way for that day to be happy. And so with shaming and peer pressure and all this stuff, there's a little bit of truth in a lot of things. And I'm not saying you have to believe everything everyone tells you, but have the mindset to be able to take a step back and look at your life. And if someone's saying something that is just completely outrageous, just brush it off. Yeah, just brush it off and laugh and be like, okay, something in their life has made them think this way or act that way, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I touched upon that with the bullying subject, how, you know, a lot of time it's them kind of acting out.
Exactly. And so people that made fun of me when I was younger and told me all these things, like, when I grew up, I realized a lot of the things they were saying were in a way true, not to the extent that they were saying it, but I did have so much I needed to work on. I was a crybaby. I was, you know, overweight. I was, you know, not as smart as I would have liked to be. And so, you know what I did? I worked out, I toughened up, and I realized that to be a good person, I need to be strong. I need to be strong within myself. I need to be strong for my family. I need to be strong for my friends. And there's so much that we as people can do to strengthen ourselves and be who we need to be. And peer pressure is a perfect way, as long as it's not like someone beating you up and stuff, like, but that touches on bullying and stuff. But peer pressure is a perfect way for you, and as any kid and as any person goes through, to toughen up. And I'm not saying everyone needs to be this brick solid wall of strength, but you need to be strong in who you are. And if someone comes up to you and makes fun of you a little bit, if it just crushes you and tears you down, then I think, again, this is such an unpopular opinion. I know so many people are gonna be mad. So sorry, Wolfie, but like, I think that there's a lot to do with people needing to realize that they are awesome. And for some reason, people have forgotten that. People have forgotten that they're awesome and amazing, and they have so much potential to be even better. And so to let a random person come by and peer pressure you into something that makes you feel less is silly to me. The idea is boggling.
I think I agree with a lot of that, but at the same time, you know, I think you touched upon a lot more pros than cons, which makes sense, because a lot of the things you said, I'm sure do help. Like when you said people have been asking you, how can I better myself at this? I want to touch upon that real quick. I know it's completely off subject, but a lot of it is dedication. Actually, all of it is dedication.
Yes.
If you want to get more fitter, and you're like, oh, I have no time in my day, you wake up 3 hours earlier and you go work out. Because and that's the whole thing. You might be fine for a week, and then after that week you can't do it anymore, or so you think. And I watched something with this football player that had his arm, he broke his arm and it became paralyzed because of surgeries or something. I can't remember what it was, but he said when he trained with his father said there's this man inside of you that even when you want to give up and you have no more dedication, when you are done there's this man inside of you that shows you that's where your true dedication is, because that man comes out and you keep going, or something along those lines. And it's very strong when I heard it, and it impacted me. And I didn't mean to get too off subject, but
No, I love that. That was really awesome.
yeah. So that's when it comes to peer pressure, it's so touchy, because everyone, again, has their own opinion. That's always with any subject, whatever it may be. But, you know, look at pros and cons. Say, what would happen if this person asked me this? You know, what would you do? Because then you're not in the moment and you make a decision that you would regret. But at the same time, like Mato said, if someone shames you in any way, don't sit and cry about it. Do something to better yourself. Because
well, I don't mean to cut you off right there, but like I don't want people to take that wrong either. Like when you say do something to better yourself, again, that doesn't always mean that what they're saying is true. Better yourself in that instance, and I know that's not what you're saying either. But like,
because everyone is perfect the way they are, but at the same time, everyone also has their flaws. So what were you saying?
Oh, like I just want people to know that, like, bettering yourself in that instance could be taking what they said and realizing it's not true. That is bettering yourself as well. Like, growing in the confidence of yourself is bettering yourself. Not like if someone came by and called me fat to be like, oh my God, I need to starve myself and work out. No, like in that, I know who I am. I know what I look like. And yeah, I'd still like to lose some weight and get a little more fit, but I wouldn't look at myself and be like, oh damn, they're right. I'm so chunky. No, like I would just say, you know what? They're entitled to that opinion. I don't agree with it, and I'm happy.
Yeah, a lot of peer pressure can be dated back to something along the lines of, you know, your confidence within yourself.
Beautifully, yes.
Because, you know, if you're not confident within yourself, anything anyone will say can destroy you. And yes. I know that because when I would swell from my condition, I would gain 20 to 30 pounds of fluid on my body. So I would look very fat. Right now I'm very fit. I'm very fit looking. I go to the gym at least every other day. I only rest 2 days every week. I have this really strong workout schedule my brother gave me, and I feel really good, and I'm getting really strong, and I like it. But when I'm swollen, I feel gross and nasty, and every time I wake up, it's my eyelids are at least a little bit swollen. I can't record until 3 or 4 hours after I wake up because my eyes will be swollen. And if in some of the videos that I record, you may be able to see any of it, that I definitely in the previous ones where before I took a break, you might be able to see that, you know, my eyes are a little swollen or my face is a little poochy. Because, yeah. So it's the hardest thing about when I was being swollen was being confident in myself. And honestly, it was so difficult. It was ridiculously difficult. Mostly because I knew that wasn't me. That wasn't the real me, which is different because a lot of people don't have that choice to go to the hospital for a day or two and get the fluid drained off you like I do and did. But I don't want it to seem like my case is so much easier because I can get it done in a day, because it's always going to be difficult no matter what goal you create for yourself. For me, you know, I don't even think this is still on peer pressure anymore. For me, I have a goal of, you know, making it with YouTube, helping like, as many people as I can, and I'm sure Mato has the same, if not better or more goals.
No.
So and a lot of times peer pressure can do better. Like when people in the comments may say you're doing this wrong and doing this wrong, it's a little different with the tone that they create, that it might hit more. But then other people that say, hey, just telling you this is what's going on, love the videos, you know, that's a positive step in the right direction. That's not peer pressure, that's being helpful. So if it's a friend or something and you think that they're peer pressuring you or they're pressuring you into something, it may just be that they're trying to tell you something to help you, or in their eyes help you, and you may not see it, they may not see it, or they might not be saying it right.
I love that. Very good.
you have anything to finish it off on?
Yeah, I mean, again, like lately, if people talk to me, like I talk a lot about how I view society and what it's doing, and maybe that does come with age, and because I've been out and about more than I guess most people have. But if a whole community is pressuring someone to do something, oh man, my phone just went off. That's so unprofessional. If it's a whole community and societal thing that is peer pressuring someone to do or feel a certain way, don't let that change you either. Like, I'm just, it breaks my heart when people can't be themselves because the people around them are telling them they can't do or be something. And it's like my wife. My wife is she's Argentinian, so she's she's Argentinian and a woman, and she has worked her entire life, and she's like incredibly successful and has accomplished so much. And like her thing is like she's never felt that because she's a woman or not, fully what do you say? How am I not remembering this word?
Feminist.
Well, but she's never felt like she's been dealt a harder hand. Like she's studied, she's went to school, she's like she didn't let society tell her she couldn't do something because she's a woman, and she didn't let anyone stop her from doing anything. And she said she's never felt like she ever has had a harder time in anything than a man has. And I look up to her so much because she's the strongest person I know. And if people could have that mindset that just because society says I can't do something, even if society is right or wrong, doesn't mean I can't do it, and work hard every single day to accomplish it. And you'll be a better person for it. And I just wanted, the very last thing, I know I'm talking so freaking much.
It's fine.
The very last thing is that you touched on was when you'd swell and kind of get, people would say things and all this stuff. I would argue that you're such a stronger, better, nicer, kinder, just more amazing person today because of that.
That's actually extremely true. I wasn't the nicest person. When I would get sick, I was self-entitled to a lot, and getting sick kind of really turned everything around. So that really helps.
I look up to you in a lot of ways, Wolfie. Like, even though I'm 10 years your senior, like you do a lot, and this is so off topic. You do so much that I look up to, and I'm so impressed with, and I'm really, really proud to know you, buddy.
You too. And don't worry, I'll cut all this out. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing, is that I look up to you too. I think I already told you that. And it doesn't help that you are older, because, that just someone being older and doing the same thing, also being successful, it really helps to put things into, broad daylight.
Oh.
And the thing I was going to say is that you can't tell right now, Mato, but everybody else can. I'm pointing around my room right now, and you may notice things are a little bit different. I'm planning on moving. Yeah, when this video goes up, I will have moved, or I will be moving in a day or two. Don't worry, I have videos ready until Friday or something like that, I think. And I'm going back to my old house that I used to live in. So if there's any kind of wonky schedule, that's not my fault. I probably should have addressed on it at the beginning of the episode, because this is 30 minutes in, but that's okay. Nobody's gonna get mad at me for not watching the whole video. That's their own fault. But thank you. I just wanted to address upon it. And videos should be fine, regular, perfect, everything. And then next time you see me actually record a video, or next time I will actually record a video, will be back at my old house. And there's a lot of reasons that, if everyone wants to know, I'll touch upon, and I'll probably tell you, Mato, after this.
Beautiful.
And I just want everybody to know that it's all gonna be fine. But thank you so much, Mato, for being on the first Motivational Monday with somebody else. It was
Thank you so
perfect,
much for having me.
and I loved it.
Oh, I hate it. No.
Well, then we won't have you back.
No, please, God, I need you. No, thank you for having me, man. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to address upon the fact that I want to do this with other subs, you guys. I want to do this with all you guys, or not all of you, but I'll pick someone every month to see if I can do it with them, and if they want to, then we'll record a video. So, because I think I'm gonna do it with Eeyore next, actually. He wanted to do it before you. He wanted to beat you to it.
What a jerk.
Yeah, but, you know, so I think I'll get in touch with him to do that. But I think this video has been long enough, so we're gonna wrap it up. Any last words, Mato?
Nope, just thanks for having me, man. And Wolfie subs, the Wolf Pack, I love y'all. And thank you for being so kind to me. And please don't get mad at me.
So yeah, everybody go subscribe to Mato. He's amazing. He talked a lot better right off the spot than I did about all these issues, and he's got a lot of wisdom under his wing. So, you know, I'll put his channel in the link below. There we go. That's not right either. The link to his channel in the description. But for now,
we'll get there.
Yeah, we got there. But for now, thank you everybody so much for watching this video. Tom and Ya. Really, thank you a lot for doing this. This was awesome.
No, that was a lot of fun.